First of all, I think your analysis was very straight line. History doesn't run in a straight line.
Kid, you cannot tell your neighbor he is stealing ducks when you are stealing frogs.
As High Commissioner, I was wrong. As Charandas Prasad, I reacted naturally how any person would have.
I did not come here for that kind of abuse. I did not come here for that kind of abuse. If you're going to go down that road, I'll walk off.
But it's all okay once they're talking. If they were talking, I could not have been here today.
You got ADHD.
I ain't got nothing.
Calm down.
I think I've done enough in terms of taking our team out of trouble from losing.
Come on, Lou Taylor. That's good. I'm reading the script now, and the first person that comes to my mind to play a detective,
Yes,
but
okay,
an
he's good.
erratic
Mikhail
detective, is Mikhail Rodriguez.
Why an African slap an Indian? Why a man and slap a woman? Look, girl, how you deal with that? You deal with that.
We must encourage platforms like this because it brings together different people and allows for discussions to take place in our country on a multiplicity of fundamental issues.
Kingdom, you apologizing for something you think I did is wrong. I don't want you to do that, and you should not have done that. Hi there. Good evening from Queenstown and Georgetown in Guyana. This is the Friday edition of the Freddie Kissoon Show, in which we take your calls and we ask you to express your beliefs, perspectives, conceptualizations, worldview about any and everything. I am doing the show alone this evening. I guess our co-hosts are all gone to cricket. The other co-host, Leonard Craig, he is a Seventh-day Adventist, so they don't function publicly. I don't know if I'm putting it correctly. On Friday evenings, that's their Sabbath. Charan has gone to cricket. Siraj has gone to cricket. And as you know, Akash Prasad is doing his own thing now. So he is on to greener pastures. He has left the program just like Gildari, who went to greener pastures. So, cricket or no cricket, the show must go on. Now, there are people looking at this program right now. They're not looking at cricket. They are not cricket fans. And they have interests elsewhere. There aren't 500 people looking at this show, as we normally get much more than that. But even if there are 5 persons looking at this show, we have an obligation to them. Democracy, as you would know, and you must know, is not about the majority only. It's about also the minority. Obligation is not only to 5 million people in the country. It's also to 5 people of the 5 million that have an interest that should be looked after. So, cricket or no cricket, the show must go on. There are people in Guyana and out of Guyana that are looking at the show. There may just be 5 of them, but we have an obligation to them. When there's the Olympics, when there is a global sporting event, when there's a big presidential debate, do other programs come off the air? No, because some people may want to see another program, may not be interested in the Olympics. Some people may not be interested in the television debate. So all over the world, when you have a global event, there are other programs on the radio and television and social media. So there is a big cricket match this evening that will determine whether Guyana fades or become the champion again. But there are other people who are not interested in cricket. And one of those persons you're looking at, I like cricket, but I wouldn't go in that crowd to see a cricket match. I don't like crowds. So I am here doing the show. So welcome to the call-in. Please call in and talk about anything you want to. We only have the landline. The other number is my cell phone, 614-5927. If you call me, I will answer it. And if you ask me a question, I will tell the viewers what is the question you ask me, and I will answer it. So this is my Mango Pelte. It doesn't have the features of the WhatsApp. But if you call me, I will answer it, and I will tell the viewers what the caller wants or what the caller has pointed out something to us. So before we take your calls, you know, we have some videos. And then I will read you a few things that should be of interest to you. Now let's look at this video in which this man should be arrested and jailed. You jail people for these things. These things are unconscionable. It's called social terrorism. It's not political or violent terrorism, but it's terrorism. Listen to look at what this guy did. And the police have forensic capacity to bring his face up and put out an arrest warrant for him. Look at what this guy did. I'll ask the operator if he could cue it up. Look at this. Now, do you know who is that man? That man is guilty of a crime against Guyana, but you know he came from somewhere. Do you see he's rolling back the bin? That bin belongs to some house or some place, and they ask him to dump the garbage. The police, I repeat, have the forensic and electronic capacity to bring that man's face up and alert the public to him and ask the public to help identify him. And there is absolutely no way he should be spared a jail term. Let me tell you, I believe in the freedom of people. I have fought my whole life for freedom and justice and liberty. When Kwame McCoy, Jason Abdullah and Sean Hines were charged for throwing a miasmic substance in my face, in the court, I was asked about my attitude to bail, and I said I would not reject them being given bail. When after they were given bail, a lot of people said, why you said that, why you said that. I believe people are entitled to bail. They weren't guilty at the beginning of the bail hearing, so I didn't oppose bail. I believe people should be given bail. I believe in the rights of human beings. What that guy did cannot be justified, and I believe contextually he should be given a jail sentence. That man threw garbage onto Guyana, not onto some little road way. He was throwing garbage on this country. When thousands of people come, they badmouth Guyana because of that idiot and the person who employed him to throw that garbage. And despite all my love for freedom, liberty, and justice, I believe that guy should be given a jail sentence. I believe he should be arrested, and he had to know that he's committing an assault on the credibility of this country. It's not a violent crime, but contextually, it is a serious transgression. Let's look at another video of what is happening in this country. You know, I don't know what to say about some things that happen in this country. You're just lost for words. I think it is not acceptable, but some people may say it's acceptable if you put cones by your driveway. It is completely acceptable. It is asinine and dangerous for you outside of the surrounding parapet of your home, the public parapet, for you to drive huge piles and take over the parapet. You can drive, you can put cones, you can put a chain around by your entrance. Look what this person did. I'll ask the operator to show the video. Now, you see where those piles were driven? Those piles were driven not at his entrance. That owner is saying nobody can park by that parapet. That is in Irving Street and Forshaw Street. And to think that the police force, the fire service, the outriding department of the office of the president and the prime minister and the ambulance could accept that. This is a person driving piles on the parapet in Irving Street, not by his entrance, by any part of the parapet where his or her house is located. So if the police outriders or the ambulance want to pass, they cannot go on the parapet and proceed. That is what the purpose of the parapet is for. It's for to facilitate the ambulance, the fire service. I want you to look at this video again and see what Guyana is becoming. Operator, could you show that video again, please? What the hell? Right. So you see where those piles are driven? Now you realize if you multiply that 100,000, 200,000 times, there are no parapets therefore for people to walk. That is right opposite a number of fast food places. You could easily park there and go across the road to the fast food place. You can't anymore. It is absolutely illegal to drive piles in the public parapet. But this guy's transport for his place includes the parapet. So I guess we have to amend the law. So when you buy a property, you're also buying the parapet. That's how it goes in Guyana. You know, Banks DIH has taken over half a mile of the public parapet, and no one can do anything about it. Sometimes I wonder, they say in 2028 there's going to be huge income from oil. About 2028 the income is going to quadruple. and we can have better schools, better medical services. Definitely, it's already happening. I am a fan of the Georgetown Hospital. But you wonder after 2028 that we're going to shoot up and become in a high bracket of high income earning country in the third world. You wonder if some things will never change in Guyana. How could the police force, how could the fire service, the outriding department for the prime minister and the president look at those things and not see it as a security risk? When the president and the prime minister is driving and the outriders see something in front of the presidential vehicle and the motorcycles could move, go on the parapet and catch up with the vehicles, you can't do that because of those piles that are driven on the parapets. Those piles is a security risk to the president, to the prime minister, to senior officers of the police force, like the commissioner of police, because something may happen to the vehicle and the outriders at the back could quickly move aside from the traffic and catch up with the commissioner of police vehicle, the president's vehicle. But this program on October 2024 is going to go on and go on and go on if we have the capacity, and those piles are going to stay there. That is Guyana for you. Now, I'm going to read a few things for you, and then we're going to open the lines. If there's a call now, I wouldn't take it, because I want to show you something that I wrote in my daily column in the Chronicle today, Friday, October the 4th. Now look at that. Why the Ethnic Relations Commission? Why is the Ethnic Relations Commission silent? What is the Ethnic Relations Commission silent about? Let me tell you what a serving minister in July 2020 said on the email string of the political party that serving minister in July 2020 belonged to. All the leaders of that party, all the ministers that were from that party, the AFC, were discussing the election, in which they were all annoyed that the election is going on until July. Why the government don't declare the ruling party of AFC, AP, and you don't declare that they won the election and get it over with. And one of the ministers discussing the election fiasco, the election disaster, said they are fed up with this government, they're fed up with the country, they wanted to remain in power. And one of the ministers said, you know, the best thing for this country is for us to have two Guyana, an African Guyana and an Indian Guyana. The country should separate. That minister said that thing on the AFC email string that had dozens and dozens of persons, dozens and dozens of persons, more than 60 persons. Persons were reading what that minister said about partition. And one of the leader of the AFC said, no, I don't agree with what you're saying. That was Dr. Vincent Adams. And he went on to say, look, I have Indian relatives. I don't believe we should separate. And he went on to reject what that minister said. I was given that information, and since 2021, I have brought it out. That minister in 2020 is still in the AFC leadership and will be contesting the election in 2025. So the AFC is asking us to vote for a person, and if the AFC wins, that person will be a minister of the Guyana government, and that person wanted in July 2020 for Guyana to be separated. No politician has ever said that except A.U.C. Guyana a long, long time ago. No ruling politician, no opposition politician has ever said that. And this minister in July from the AFC said, look, it's best this go. Where is this country going? We can always have this turmoil. It's best we separate. And the turmoil was caused by that minister's party, the AFC, that together with APNU and elements in the CARICOM GCOM Secretariat were rigging the elections. So I made this thing public. I cited Dr. Vincent Adams as a witness, and the ERC has not contacted me as yet. The ERC is not dealing with this. How could someone in the hierarchy of of a major political party could call for separation? And do you know to date, ladies and gentlemen, if you're viewing this program, my finger, not one person from the PPP, the PNC, other opposition parties, the media, civil societies, NGOs, academics, no one picked up on that and said, how could a minister call for partition? Not one person in this country. You see what I said? You see what I said about 2028 when all money keeps gushing in? There's some things in Guyana perhaps will never change. How could a minister call for separation? This is not an obscure laborer somewhere in Region 1 or Region 9. This is not some unemployed person in some way of the East Coast or East Bank. This was a serving minister who today is in the leadership of the AFC, sits in the leadership hierarchy of the AFC, and nobody sees that as something to be taken up. But read the papers about someone connected to the government say something, and oh, where's the ERC? The ERC must investigate. Where is the police force? Where is the government? That's the kind of society we live in. So I am going to read one more thing, and if there are no calls, I am going to continue to talk because we have to have a show. And so if 5 persons are looking, the show will go on. We were poor on the developed country, and we discovered a resource. We discovered an asset that the world wants, and the world is paying us for that asset, and we're using that asset to come out of poverty. Clive Thomas is one of the biggest critics, Professor Clive Thomas, of the government of Guyana, led by the PPP. Every 2 weeks, he and David Hines get on the podcast and they criticize the government. And Clive Thomas said, all money will bring serious changes in the alleviation of poverty. And some people are against our oil economy. Some people want us to come out of oil, and some people want us to confront Exxon, a company whose income is larger than many dozens and dozens of countries in the world, a company whose tentacles reach to every corner of the globe. And so this company, Exxon, has an investment contract with the government. And some people say, no, it's a bad contract. We must renegotiate it. And they want to force the Guyana government to force Exxon to renew the contract, as if Guyana can actually do that without being extinguished as how you extinguish a candle fire. Who or what is Guyana to tell Exxon, come to the table, give us a better deal, or go? And the United States and its sycophants, Japan, France, and all of them, the European Union, they are going to say, good, Guyana is doing fine, stand up to Exxon. And we will be the cheerleader. No, it's not going to happen like that. The minute Guyana tell Exxon we want a better shale, we're going back to the days of the 70s and 80s, where the world is going to frown on us. But former President and Prime Minister wrote a nice letter in all the newspapers, and I want to read a section of that letter because our young people need to know when foreign investors come here, it's not Guyana doing them a favor. They are doing us a favor. Let me read this part from Sam Hines' letter. Where Exxon has had to look about 1.5 miles through the water to the bottom of the sea, and a further 1.5 miles into the rocks to the oil-bearing strata, and had the knowledge to now recover the oil from such a depth in such a location, and was able to accumulate and riskily venture that money, the capital to do it. I would prefer to have my people feeling challenged, learning and knowing how these things are accomplished. It is in becoming knowledgeable and capable and accomplishing that we become empowered. Also, when we know, it is easiest for us to reach agreement and have satisfactory partnership with others. And with less than 1 million people, we Guyanese need to become good at making partnerships with others in this world of 8 billion souls. So these fools, these idiots that know nothing about international political economy, know nothing about the fulcrums that the world rests on, know nothing about power in the world. And there's a good book just out 2 weeks ago by a top-class economist and financial expert, a top-class professor, Maurice Odell, who was one of the person leading CARICOM to negotiate with the wider world. And you should read his book. It is called An Eventful Life by Dr. Maurice Odell. And he talks about how the developed West wouldn't rest, would not give us in the third world a break. They just keep pushing us down to their advantage. And so we got oil, and we got a few billion US coming in, and some unapologetically some idiots, but some ignorant people who don't know what international relations mean, who don't know nothing about the history of US imperialism or global imperialism, know nothing about the disparity between the third world and the big developed West. They want Guyana to coerce Exxon to sign a better contract, and they think Guyana can do it. Those people are not only ignorant of realism, they're ignorant of life itself. And Sam Hines, the former president and prime minister, and a man of integrity, one of the few politicians in the third world that I can say have integrity. That man is saying we should welcome the oil investment and welcome the income we get from it. And you know why we should do that? If Exxon didn't come, where would we have been? Let me tell you where we would have been. We would have been like what I saw at UG for the 26 years I taught at UG and carried home. I went to some of the best universities in the world. And when I left UG after my contract was terminated in 2011, unjustly, I took home about $170,000. And I could have gone out of Guyana and worked for much higher than that. And I worked for UG for 26 years when there was no paper to give handouts to the students. There was no telephone service. You couldn't work at UG and call your home to tell your wife or your husband that, the car isn't working if they could come for you. UG was barren, nothing. When I parted company with UG was December 2011, and the then Vice Chancellor Lawrence Carrington told me he put a bucket so the water dripping from the roof into the bucket in the office of the Vice Chancellor. And there are people in this world, now that Guyana has got what it so longed for, these people are telling us, bring Exxon at the table. You're getting $4 billion. US, tell Exxon you want $8 billion, or just let them go. To think there are human beings that can say that. So the line is open. It's landline 231-2982. Call and let's chat, and that's my cell phone number, 614-5927. You can call me and talk to me, and I will tell the viewers what you have said to me. So, if we don't have any call because you're looking at cricket, or for some reason you don't want to call, fine. I know there are people looking at the show, maybe they don't want to call in, but the show must go on. So I will continue to talk about things that need to be highlighted. Now, that part of Sam Hines' letter that I read, young people need to know about the direction that Sam Hines has pointed us to. 75% of this country is between the age of 16 and 40. That's one of the youngest populations in the world. And the young people need to know why Exxon is here, the money Exxon put, and we should be thankful that the largest corporation in the world came to invest in Guyana. You know what the Vice President Barajagdeo said? If you don't like Barajagdeo, it doesn't mean what I'm about to quote from him is not factual. In fact, it's factual. In a Kaicho radio interview, Barajagdeo said, if you take all the money in all the banks in Guyana, every cent, and you pull it together, it would not be equivalent to what is needed for oil production in Guyana, for oil investment in Guyana. That just goes to show the largeness of the investment. And you pick up the papers every day and you hear people saying, force Exxon to the table. It's a bad contract. And when we do that, and Exxon walk away, you know those people who are saying we have to force Exxon to the table? Just don't take my word for it. Look at every one of them. There are two sets of anti-oil lobby. One is the group that says Guyana must save the world. Yes, literally saying that Guyana must save the world because oil exploration is bad for the climate. And when we get into oil exploration, we will further do damage to the climate. A country with less than 8 million people, in which an opposition leader sat next to me named Kian Jabul and was criticizing the government and saying medical service, medical delivery is in shambles. Now, I don't believe that is so. But he said that. Now, if we had the medical service that you have in the developed West, he probably would not have said that. And so there are people who are saying we must save 42 of them with PhDs and masters and novelists who have published and all kinds of profession they're in. On the 13th of November 2022, they wrote a letter, 42 of them, saying Guyana must immediately stop oil production. And I did some research into the 42 signatures, and all of them are upper middle class or petty bourgeoisie, or from the petty bourgeoisie, or from the bourgeoisie class. And those people want us to get out of oil. And I did the research in them, and a majority of them are living outside of Guyana. And about 15 of them are working, not at UG where I worked for 26 years when there was no drinking water. They're working at other universities, paying taxes in other countries, contributing their skills to other countries. And they want Guyana that they don't live in, Guyana that they don't visit the Georgetown Hospital, Guyana that they don't visit the schools, the public schools. They want us to come out of oil. And then you have the other anti-oil lobby that want us to force Exxon to come to the table. This is the reality we have to put up with in this country, in which people who have no interest in the development of Guyana, but are simply anti-PPP, anti-government, and using the oil industry to fool people, to fool Guyanese. Of course, it's not working. But here we are, the lines are open. Please call us at 231-2982. That cell phone there is my number. If you call me, I will answer it, and I will listen to what you have to say and rebroadcast for the viewers what you said to me. So I'm waiting for your call. If we don't have any call, I will continue, and I think I could hold the fort until 10 o'clock. So we'll continue to call. Now, here's a call coming in. Good evening.
A very good evening to you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I got some concerns.
Yeah, express your concern.
Yeah, my concern is that the government recently, from the Ministry of Agriculture, I think he was at they were at Region 5, was talking about the young people should be involved in poultry, etc., and chickens and livestock or whatever. However, is it the right systems in place for that type of work for the young people? I mean, it's a huge investment, and if young people is to, even if the land is being given and loan is to be given to be involved in business-wise, they're properly trained to deal with poultry, with what is taking place within the poultry industry. It's a very good initiative. Also, it's something good that the government is doing. But on the other hand of it, how they will continue to progress as young persons or young people now going into this kind of type of work, the poultry work. That's just one. The second thing is that, and this is you of your own self or persons can verify this, could identify this. Now, there's a lot of things talking about the Chinese people. I have nothing against Chinese people and what they're doing and etc. and what's that. But we know as Guyanese. Chinese people get tax reduction, or they don't pay tax for the stuff that they bring into this country, which means that it should be sold for far cheaper than other persons that sell the products. However, it doesn't be like that. When you go to the Chinese store, it's almost higher. It's more costly at some Chinese stores. I can prove that to you.
Well, stay on the line. I don't agree with two things you said. I don't think you shop at a Chinese store more often than me. That's because where I live, it's convenient. I shop at Gainmart on UG Road. That's not far from where I live. And then I like to support DSL. But I don't think it is accurate to say that the goods that the Chinese importers bring in is not taxed. That is incredible. All importers, you're making a serious accusation against GRA officers on the wharf. Are you telling me that Kissoon, Singh, Goodman, Jones, their goods arrive in the containers on the wharf, and Kissoon, Jones, and others, their goods are taxed, and when the Chinese bring in their goods and the GRA officers examine it, it's not taxed? That is misleading, sir. You are making a colossus...
Probably, I might be wrong in that area. I may be wrong in that area, but it still could be examined. I
don't think anybody should examine that. Europeans, Chinese, local Guyanese, they have to pay duty on the goods when it arrives on the wharf. You're actually saying GRA is racist. They favor the Chinese.
No, that's what I've been wanting to know, that they too is pay the kind of tax.
No, what I think you need, and I hope you're not confusing it, what I think you need and we need to look at is whether they're VAT compliant. I know of no Chinese supermarket that give you a receipt. None.
Okay, well,
and that should be
probably it is not competitive within the why would say the business community, where that you got to look at it I can't say on a retail base or a wholesale base, but you do your research. Persons could do their own research, and you can see what I'm talking about. Now, if you go to Munishwar, I'm just using an example. You go to Munishwar and you buy a box of screws, drywall screws. You might get 200 drywall screws inside, and you might pay $400 or something. But then you go to the Chinese stores and you purchase that same box, right? The same box of screws. You pay far more.
I don't agree. I that's not my experience, sir. My experience is the Chinese stores are cheaper.
No, well, that's what I'm saying.
I'm telling you about my experience, and so therefore I cannot accept what you're saying.
Yeah, but it is open. It is open for persons who are listening to verify that. But I'm just using the two main stores, two main places. If you got Munishwar on Water Street, and you purchase a box of screws, at 2-inch box of screws, and you go to Chinese place, where you probably at one of the Chinese hardware, and you could do the evaluation yourself.
Well, I don't have to do the evaluation. I know in my experience, the Chinese sell things cheaper. Now, it could be they buy very, very large quantities, and therefore the price is reduced, but I can tell you that I find things that I have bought from the Chinese, I find them to be very cheap. So that is not my experience. I am not going to dispute what you're saying about Munishwar.
I got one more other thing.
Yeah, go on.
The other thing that I have to say is that many programs is going on, like many contracts is going on in our country. Many contracts, many contracts is going on. And what I'm not seeing happening in the Ministry of Public Works, if they get, hello?
Yeah, I'm listening, sir. I'm listening to you.
Yeah, is to get a maintenance crew.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so with all these billions of dollars that is spending, right? All these billions of dollars that is spending to reopen roads and to build roads and to do X, Y, and Z. When you go back a month, 2 months after, I can tell you what happened to the maintenance crew that's maintaining, that's protecting or looking after any problems that will occur on the roadway. There is many street lights that are not lighting, but they got up poles, they got up lights on it, but it is not lighting. No one at GPL or wherever is making reports pertaining to these kind of faulty things that is happening around. This is supposed to be a lighting city.
For your information, GPL no longer deals with city lights or lights in general. That is now,
I don't know.
that's now the Ministry of Public Works. So Ministry of Public Works responsible for putting up lights and lighting up the country, not GPL.
Yeah,
GPL.
but there is a number of lights. Look, for instance, I gave you one place and I done here. Let me just say, you drive from by, let me say a popular place like the public hospital. You just drive wrong by the Market Street. Let me say from Camp Street, coming straight down. I'll just use one place. I could use another place, but I don't want it. There is a number of poles, like poles there, but the light is on, but it is not lighting. They don't have a maintenance crew that goes around the city that marks poles or marks streets that need these bulbs need to change and keep the streets lighting. That's just my question.
Those are some of the things, just to underline quickly, those are some of the things I don't understand. They need to be, in a country like this with all these trucks going, there need to be a surveillance team that goes on to the streets and the highways and look to see whatever huge holes they have in the road. Right by where I live, I have to use UG Road to turn into my thing. There is a huge crater there, so people move and come into your direction. Those things, the Ministry of Public Works, and it's at the corner of UG Road and Wayway Embankment, where the traffic is one of the heaviest in the entire country. I don't understand. Don't they have a surveillance crew that go and look at these things anyway, sir? I don't want to keep you. Thanks for coming through.
Yeah, thank you so much. Sir.
Okay, bye-bye. Somebody was trying to get on to me. Let me call them and see what is it they want to say. If they're looking at the program, please call me again. If you're looking at the program, somebody was trying to get on to me, please call me. Please call me. Please call me again and let's talk. I don't want to call you because it may be long and my credit may go. Don't forget. Unlike what some people say, I am not an employed person. I don't work with any section of this society, so I live on my pension, so I got to be careful how much I spend in this show because this show isn't bringing in any money for me. So if that person is listening, please call me. I can call you, but I don't want to end up speaking 10 minutes for you and my credit goes. But I guess I can do it. So let me call this person, ask them to call me back. Oh. Hello?
Hi, good evening, Mr. Kissoon.
Yeah? You're calling about the show? Yeah.
Hello, am I on the
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm calling all the way from Linden.
Okay.
Okay? In Lovers Lane, Linden, 6th Street, there's a hydrant broke.
The guy saying 6th Street in Linden, there's a hydrant that is broken. If GWI is... Yes, sir. In 6th Street in Linden, there's a...
Lovers Lane.
Lovers Lane.
Yeah. The hydrant broke there. Over 2 months. Over a couple of hundred report me.
Oh my God. Let's get this again. So I will call Siraj, who's the deputy chairman of GWI. He's at the cricket. Go slowly. I don't have a pen, but I remember it. There's a fire hydrant that is broken for 2 months now in Lovers Lane in Linden. 6th Street, Lovers Lane in Linden. I'll remember it. And hundreds of complaints, and it hasn't been fixed as yet. They turn on the pressure, and so if you're looking at the program, I don't have a WhatsApp phone, so you will not be hearing what the person is saying. He's calling from Linden, and he said in 6th Street, in Lovers Lane in Linden, a fire hydrant has been broken, and for over 200 calls have been made for it to be fixed, and it hasn't been fixed. They lower the pressure, and it's affecting the people who live in Lovers Lane. I am so sorry this call has been made when Siraj is not here. He promised he'll be here next week, because I know Siraj. He will have worked on that immediately.
All right. If just in case I don't do anything now that is highlighted, I will call back next week.
Yeah. Please do that.
All right, Freddie. Thank you.
Right. Good. Bye. So you can call my cell and tell me what's the problem, and I will repeat it. In 6th Street in Lovers Lane in Linden, a hydrant is not working for over 2 months now and hasn't been fixed. Now, why can't this be fixed? You learn so much. I've learned so much on this program for the past 2 years, 4 months. And it really breaks your heart that some of these things are so inconsequential that people shouldn't have to suffer. What is wrong with filling a crater in the street that carries heavy traffic? A man lost his life at the junction of UG Road and Railway Embankment. He was going fast with his little scooter, and he went into the crater, and it pitched him onto the road, and he died. How much resources it would have taken to fix that? Why can't the hydrant in Lovers Lane in Linden be fixed? These are not very intricate, complicated things like a sophisticated machine, a GPL, sophisticated computer system. Why can't you fill a crater in the road? Anyway, the lines are open. Please call 231-2982. My cell is 614-5927. If you call me, I will tell the viewers what you have communicated to me. There is a broken hydrant in 6th Street in Lovers Lane, Linden. And the guy, I don't know if he's exaggerating. Let's take this call. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, Dr. Freddie Kissoon.
Yes, sir. You're on to the Freddie Kissoon.
Yes. I called to tell you something, right?
Yeah.
During 2023,
yeah,
the pensioners were receiving sort of $3,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
And I remember the vice president was saying that the pensioners automatically would be given 13 months pay because of the cash grant and so on. He said they would be receiving 13 months pay. I don't know if you can remember that.
No, I should stay in safe waters. No, I can't remember the logistics of the vice president.
Only in 2023.
Yeah.
He mentioned it, and then late in 2023, when they gave out the cash grant, they only gave out it was $25,000 cash grant. But really, his speech was pensioner would be receiving 13 months pay every year. So if we check it, the pensioner was short by $8,000 last year in 2023, right? Because the cash grant was only 25,000.
Okay.
So if we go based upon the vice president that he was saying, we should be getting the 8,000. We should get $3,000 as the cash grant in 2023. The other thing I want to mention is that when they pay this cash grant, most of the pensioners spent almost approximately 2.5 hours waiting time. I don't know if you know about it.
I know about it. I was there with my wife.
Yes.
I know about it. I spoke about it on this program.
Petition the Human Service because they involved in it.
We saw that at Turkine. We went away. When we went back, was the same thing. And then we went away again, and we went back later in the day, and it was the same thing. I experienced that, sir. My wife and I went.
But remember, we move into the fastest growing economy in the world and so on. Why they can't create a system where the pensioner don't even got to go in a line to receive the cash grant, and the cash grant should be as it should be.
No, wait a minute, sir. Yeah. I think we didn't go. When we went back, we decided that was it. We weren't going. We weren't going to receive it. And then there was an announcement that another day is put aside, or 2 days are put aside for those who didn't collect. And we went on those days. But I think I remembered we had given up. We had said, no, we're not going through that.
I hope the Human Services, the Dr. Vindhya Prasad is listening, because remember, these people, 74,000 pensioners got to receive money, and you calculate, each one of them got to spend almost, the average time is 2.5 hours in the line. It's unacceptable. They got to do something better than that this time, because I guess there would be a cash grant.
I am a supporter of this government. If you read my daily columns in the Chronicle and you hear my views on this program, but I am keeping my fingers crossed. I don't know. The year before, there were problems in 2022. So look, human beings operate with common sense. And if you don't have that, civilization cannot survive. If you are shaving out sugar cake at your home and you see what happened 1 year, then common sense should tell you that you get your neighbor and you get your neighbor's neighbor to shave out the sugar cake, because people came at your door and almost broke down the door. That's common sense. You're not going the next year shave out sugar cake in the same identical fashion.
Yeah,
so
they got to improve on this.
2022 it was a mess. 2023 it was a mess.
Yeah, well, I hope
2024
Dr. Ali, the president, should be getting involved in it, because he is getting involved in a lot of things. Like, for instance, the cocoa the other day, he put on the boots and he gone into the mud and so on. So I want to make sure that the pensioner are treated better.
We didn't, my wife and I. So look, I serve this country, and one of the things I believe in that I would never sell for no money is my dignity. And when my wife and I went there, I said to myself, no, we're not going through that for 25,000. And we came away.
Yeah.
I don't have any big wish for a huge set of money, but I wasn't going through that for $25,000. And we came away. We just
I mean,
read.
Look at the poor class of people. I mean, you might pass it, but look at other people who.
Yeah, I know I would pass it because I could have afforded to pass it, and that's honest. I mean, I don't mind taking the 25,000, but I thought I would not allow my wife dignity. No, my wife means the world to me, and I'm a rough man, and even if I joined the line and wait, I wasn't carrying my wife through that.
I know.
And I could understand. Okay, thanks for coming through. Let me take this call, right?
Yeah, happy Teachers Day to you.
Okay, bye-bye. Hello? Yeah? Yeah, good evening.
You got to realize there's a lot of problem in this country. These things are not fixed. I just heard the telephone latest call with this one. But you have to realize that there's a senior political leader campaign as is asking his supporters to sabotage his government wherever they can. Keep on sabotaging this government. Keep on sabotaging.
Okay, let me tell the viewers what you're saying. There's a caller talking to me here, and he's saying Guyana has a lot of problems, but there's a senior opposition figure that is calling on Guyanese people to sabotage the government, and so a lot of these things may be sabotage. That is his view, of course. That's his thing.
It was on the open, Freddie.
Yeah.
Television all over.
Yeah, but he's saying that there's a leader that says calling on people to sabotage the government.
I think you call him the Blackwood man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well.
You must highlight those kind of things. Those things you must bring up and highlight it because the government is still being sabotaged.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I wonder at some of the things that are done. I see some things that are done in Guyana. Sometimes I wonder if it's not sabotage or truth. I don't know how you could build a car park for Georgetown Hospital people. And you can't, when you go in, you can't go out. And right next to the car park is a pavement that is overrun by the bushes. And I want to know if that is not sabotage by the engineers. I go to the seawall every day. And I do not believe in any part of the world a step from the road leading onto the beach can be so wide and the road so narrow. I would think you widen the road and you make a reasonable step for people to walk on. You see that step at the back of Marriott where you used to go on the beach? That is the widest step. That is the widest step. That is the widest step on the beach in the world. In the world. And I believe that there are people who do these things and say, look, to hell with it. Instead of you widening the road, so when you go up onto the beach, a car that is coming down, you can see each other. They widen it. Let me tell you something. Look, sir, thanks for coming through. Let me take this call. I take your point. Bye-bye. Bye. Hello? Hello?
Hey.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Freddie?
Yes. Yeah, I'm holding the fort alone. Yeah, go ahead. Hello?
Okay. Listen. Yes. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're talking about that Palaf situation, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you something. I live in the back street. You had a girl selling in the street there, right? All the car parked in front of me. And I think it's right what the people do, put the bollards and everything in front of the carpet. Because they break down my Palaf, it cost me $125,000 to fix it.
Where do you live? I'm talking about Foshaw and Irving Street.
Freddie, I live in Commons Lodge, the back street.
Well, we talking about two different places. This is somebody that drove big stakes in the parpet on Irving Street and Fosha. And you cannot do that on such a main road. In these small access road, people like to plant things in their parpet. Irving Street is one of the major roads in Guyana. It leads from Georgetown to the Seawall Road, to Clive Lord Drive. The amount of traffic there going to the National Park, going to the GDF head office, you can't drive. It is not right for you to do that because legally you have claimed ownership of the parpet.
Yeah, well, you see what I'm telling you, that back street is a main road going to the airport, Oakley Airport. You know that, right?
Where are you talking? I'm talking about Forshaw and Irving Street, where the piles are. Which street are you talking about?
I'm talking about the 6th Street in Commons Lodge, UG Road.
Yeah, I live nearby there, yeah. What's
right on the corner there.
What's happening in 6th Street, Commons Lodge?
They park the car on my parpet there, right? They break down the whole
which part in 6th Street?
It's about the four house when it's on 6th Street. 4 houses. 4
houses from Civil Party. 4 houses from Civil Party College.
Yes, on the left hand side.
Right, which means if you're going east into Commons Lodge and 6th Street, it's the 4th house on the southern part.
Yes.
And
the northern part.
On the northern part?
Yes.
On the northern part.
The left hand when you go up.
Yes, yeah, if you're going east, it's on your left. Right. 4 houses from Civil Party College, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And what they did?
They parked in the car to go buy food as the lady next on the stand there.
But people don't have a right to park in the parpet? People don't have a right to park in the parpet? The parpet is public property.
They have a right, but what I'm saying, the whole Parliament breakdown. Is they going to build it back or me got to build it back? It cost me $125,000 to make it back.
You mean you pile off the parpet and your trench?
Yes.
But if you did that to between the trench and the parpet, how could the vehicles be destroyed? They will be damaging their cars.
Yeah, because from the trench to the road is a wide parpet. Very, very wide.
But how could they be damaging the pile off? If they hit the pile off, they're damaging their cars.
No, they all don't send down the pile off into the drain.
So you are saying that they shouldn't park on the parpet there?
They could park on the park, but not so close to the pile off, man.
Yeah, they could park there, but not close to the pile off, right? I agree with that.
But if I put bollards there, what's gonna happen now?
But do you
complain now? You know?
Is it the cars that? Is it the pressure from the cars that sunk the parpet and damaged the pile off?
Yes, they got trucks and everything parking there, man.
Yeah, but that's a ticklish question, you know. I mean, people got to park in the parpet. Where I live,
I know.
Where I live, I have not put anything in the parpet. People could park in front.
I know where you live. I know. Daram Lal put a whole set of bollards right by in front of him there.
Yeah, I don't think that is.
Daram Lal live right opposite me.
Yeah, okay.
That is one of my house, Daram Lal by.
Oh, I didn't know Daram Lal
I'm the
lived.
guy who call up every week and complain about the belling ground.
Oh, you the guy. By the way, I visited the burying ground because I went to buy coconut water at the man that's selling right at the corner of 6th Street. And I looked at the bearing gong and I was discussing it with him. That is disgraceful. I went and I looked at that bearing gong.
Lot of black power be living there.
Well, a man died from bees. I think there are bees in that place. I would not advise the Georgetown City Council to go and clear that bearing gong without being accompanied by the bee eradication crew. That thing
Yes, they got to wear a suit to go in there.
that bearing gong thing is disgraceful, man. What is wrong with this country?
Yeah.
When I looked at that thing,
Freddie, my father used to clean that bearing gong. Well, he died about 20 years now.
Yeah.
My father used to clean that bearing gong, and he used to dig grave ones for people.
What?
He's a well-known man. You should do it. Sergeant Cherry name.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I'm glad you called. I'm glad you called. I went and looked at that bearing gong because while the guy was filling up the coconut water in my bottle, I looked across it and I went across when he finished. And I even told the coconut vendor man, I said, look at that thing. I pointed it out to him. I can't understand. I will never understand.
My sister died the other day and couldn't go get in there to bury her.
I cannot understand when these things first came, when this program started 2 years ago, and I heard these calls. I wanted to stop this program because I'm getting on in age. When I leave this program this evening at 10 o'clock, I promised my wife we're going to see a movie on Netflix. And I want to wind down and spend more time. I hardly spent, my whole life has been hectic politically. And I miss a big part of being with my wife and knowing her. So I want to wind down and spend time with my wife as I'm in my 70s. I don't want to hear about these calls when I see that bearing gong. Listen, this, when you put things in black and white, it lasts forever. I have 2 columns. I have 2 columns about 15 years ago about what I saw about the burial ground when my wife's relatives was being buried at Lagrange. I wrote about the burial. We couldn't get into the burying ground, and we were afraid because of the bees. It so happened there were no bees there. And here in 2024, we are talking to the burying ground in which bees live there that can kill you. Man, oh man, oh man.
I know you a long time, man, Freddie. I know you
anyway, look, man.
You know a guy named Joey Rogabir?
I can't recall.
Your family. If your family is your mom.
Oh, yes, Joey. I met him drinking beer at a Chinese supermarket. He lives around there?
Yeah, he lives at my house.
Oh, Joey Wagabear lives.
He lives at my house.
He's renting one of your places?
No, I put him to live there because I live in America. I live here for 42 years.
Oh, so Joey's living in 6th Street. Yeah, Joey's my first cousin. Joey's my first cousin. Joey's mother and my father are brothers and sisters.
Yes. I know.
Yeah. I grew up with Joey's mother because they used to live at St. Stanislaus Cricket Ground, and my father was the chief groundsman there. So from 10 years, I left primary school and was with my father. That is why I know the seawall that no other human being on planet Earth knows better than me. Okay. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, man. So I called in every time I call in.
Well, we're not getting anywhere with that bearing ground. So 2024 is nearing to end. This program, if it exists in 2025, we're going to be talking about the bearing ground. Look, sir, I give my life to this country. And I remember Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud spent his life studying human psychology. And you know what Freud said? In the end, as he was getting old, he said, I don't understand people. I give my life to this country, and I tell you this, I don't understand Guyana. Oh my God. There's a very, very famous song when I was young named Both Sides Now. I don't know if you know it, and there's a line that says, I looked at life at both sides now, from win and lose, and still somehow, it's life's illusion I recall. I really don't know life at all. I really don't know Guyana.
That's true.
I really don't know Guyana song. Thanks for coming through.
I lived there 42 years ago, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're in So you're in Guyana right now?
No, I'm over here. I'm coming from New York.
Okay, well, when you're in Guyana, give me a call. I saw Joey the other night.
Sure, man.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. So you take care then. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Good. That man was called about the burial ground opposite Cyril Potter College at the junction, Muslim burial ground, at the junction of 6th Street and UG Road, right where Cyril Potter College is. That man has been calling every week, but nothing doing. And I guess he's going to, if he has the urge and the instinct, he's going to be calling next year if we still have this program in 2026, and nothing doing. That man that took over one of the bench at the Kingston Seawall, where First Lady spent dozens of millions to landscape. That guy took over the bench, living on the bench for months now, and no one can move him. So when people go to the seawall, there's a bench less to sit down on and look at the Atlantic Ocean. And the police outpost there said that's not their problem. That's a vacancy problem for some other part of the government. Hello, good evening. Hello?
Hey, Freddie.
Yeah, man.
Good night.
Good night.
One issue I want to raise.
Yeah, you can raise how many issues you want. It's a light night tonight.
Okay. All right. This is in relation to the David Rose Special School, which is close to the Ayangana.
Yeah, I pass there every day. I go to the park every day. I know that place very well.
Good. Now, one of the problems that I observed, because I have a grandson that goes there, right, is the garbage, the overtapping of those bins. They have like about 6 barrels or 7 barrels. As soon as you go into the gate, just as the gate is there and you turn to the left, it's overtapping with garbage all the time. My point is, the point is that the garbage bins, I don't think that is the appropriate place for those bins to be there. Because that school is a special school.
There's a very respected, iconic Guyanese whose child goes to that school, and I'm sure if he intervene, he is respected. I'll tell you who he is. It's Dominique Gaskin, who stood very courageously and stood very tall in 2020 and came out against his own government and said the election was being tampered with. And for that, he has earned national respect. He's an iconic Guyanese, and I'm sure. I'm
not here attacking anybody.
I'm sure if Dominique raised it, the authorities will listen, because I'm sure they respect him.
Okay, but what I'm doing, I'm not attacking anybody, but what I'm saying.
No, you're not attacking anybody. You're speaking about reality.
It's not the appropriate place for it. All right? That's my observation.
I don't understand why they would have. I don't understand that, man. That's a special school.
Exactly.
With special kids.
And as soon as it's a complete ice tour, like really ice tour. I have pictures. I can send pictures. Your next program, I'm going to send pictures to you with it.
Yeah, send.
I was there today.
Yeah, you're going to see the WhatsApp number on the screen next Friday. Send pictures in. I'm going to ask Dominique Gaskin if he can use his iconic status to get something done there.
And another observation with it too, what I find with the street itself, many times it's always on the bush, both corners, left and right. And when it rains, it's a mess to get in there, you know, and it's really a sad situation when it comes to the children, because the kind of children that goes to that school.
Yeah. I could understand the way you feel. If I had a child going there, you wouldn't want, no. I hope this telephone call brings some solution to that. But I am going to talk to Dominic Gaskin because he has a son that goes there.
Another point too, I want to support you when it comes to the ExxonMobil playing a major part in our country now when it comes to the development. I think a lot of us don't understand. And I think you know and I know in the 60s and the 70s that's what we went through. And we braved that period. And now we're given a chance where we're having money and we can develop a lot of areas. And you know, at least we can go into a supermarket now and buy stuff at a very cheap cost. You know, years ago we couldn't even buy a whiz. You know, so, you know, the persons who want to sabotage and who want this renegotiation of this contract, you know, and trying to fight, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't support them at all with that, because we have to welcome investors into this country so we can develop. Right? It gives us an opportunity to see and to develop along with the developing world. So, you know, we have to be careful when it comes to when we're dealing with our investors, because we do welcome them.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm glad you made that point. Many more like you should come in and make that point. I'm a little annoyed at that thing at the school, man. I pass that place every day and I see the children that are going there, physically challenged children, mentally challenged children, and no, that is not right, man.
Yeah.
Please send us the photographs.
Yeah, sure, I will. Yeah,
right.
I will. I don't want, even if the authorities or the headmistresses, I'm not attacking them. But my point to them, if they're listening, or whoever's listening to this, was that where the garbage bins are placed is not the appropriate place. Because as soon as you walk into the gate to the left, there it is. And the garbage is always spilling over the bins and it's on the ground, and you know, it's not appropriate. They need to find another place to put those bins. That is my observation.
Yeah.
My contribution towards it.
You will get the WhatsApp number on the screen next week. It's going to be either Siraj or Charandas Prasad or both. Please send those photographs.
Sure, I will.
Okay.
Okay, you continue your good work, and
okay.
I'll talk with you next week.
Right. Bye-bye. Good. We have 8 minutes. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Kissoon.
Yes, sir.
They have some simple problem that could solve. But the government put some people in place. And these people just, I ain't calling no name. The people just messing up all the time.
Well, I tell you this. The only thing I know about engineering is to spell the word. And I'm telling you some things I saw. A guy called my cell phone to say he thinks sabotage is going on. I don't know if it's sabotage. It could be sabotage. It could be ignorance. I live opposite Movie Town, right opposite Movie Town. The trench separates the road from my house and the road.
Yeah, but...
Right. And I see they build a pavement there. And that pavement, again, engineering common sense would tell you it shouldn't be so wide because the road is one of the busiest roads. That's a road that leads you from the railway embankment to Movie Town with massive supermarket there. Some of the things, Saul, when I get caught in that parking lot opposite the hospital and I couldn't go forward or couldn't reverse, then I know some people are doing wrong things.
No, listen what I say. I could call names, but I won't think because I'm a supporter of the government.
Well, don't call names before you get me to libel.
Because let me show you.
You could call names if you are not saying anything that is damaging to the character of a person. For example, if John Jones supervised the road,
no.
you could say John Jones should have done a better job. He can't sue for that.
No, but what I'm saying, they put in some people in some position, and these people just ruling, they just giving share can business. I said, well, watch what's going on. I said, watch what this government doing. And you can't complain to nobody. You can't, who you complain to? Because some of them, the minister guiding them, and some of them, the ministers guiding some of them under the wings, and they doing the wrong thing. I tell you this, Mr. Kissoon. I tell you this. And I know this. But it's when you see I talk out. When you see I talk out, they gonna fix. All right, there's my take.
Well, I think people who support the government,
I'm supporting the government.
They have a moral. When you support a government, you help that government by telling them things that need correcting.
Now you're talking.
I mean, it helps them. I have ultimate respect for Anil Nandlal. And I think I share a long friendship with Dharam Kumar Siraj, high people in the government. And I'm telling you, if those people know of certain things that are wrong or something that need fixing, they would fix it. They would. I think Irfan Ali means well for Guyana. I think Irfan Ali is a modest guy who wants to achieve a legacy that would put him right up at the top there when Guyanese history being written. And government supporters need to point these things out.
But Mr. Kissoon, we have a man named Barajagdio, and Barajagdio is the backbase for this country. Any topic, you just listen to Barajagdio press conference. Any topic, they choose the man answer to everything. They have no president in this country used to do like that. Any topic you pick is all right with him, and the man has answered everything. I see the answer that he's at 100%, but he's answered at 95%. Anything the man answers. So, and you know this, the man is a wizard. And the people and the certain people vex with that.
Like you got COVID.
No, I got a throat itching. I using some sweetie. Yeah. But one side it ain't easy. The man is a boss. And the man guided the country well. But some people, you got people gonna always criticize. They always criticize. You never see a president like this yet. A former president. All right, Mr. Kissoon.
Okay. Hear from you next week. Bye-bye. Our operators told us 3 minutes remaining. So, don't forget you can call my cell, tell me what's the problem, and I will relay the problem to the viewers. And there is the landline 231-2982. Hopefully we will have someone here next week with a smartphone, with a WhatsApp number so you can call. I have my Mango Pelt. I just feel mentally comfortable with it. I get a $180 phone, $180,000 phone, and it will break up the next day. You know how many of these I have changed? So I just told my wife, I am happy with this because this falls on all the time. I bought one of this 2 weeks ago at a shop at Middleton and Campbell Avenue, right at the corner there. So I'm quite happy with this, but Charandas Prasad or Dharam Kumar Siraj, Member of Parliament and advisor to the Ministry of Local Government, they both said they should be here so people can send in their photographs and we can show it. So our time is going. I think this is the third time I have carried the show alone, and I guess I will do that because we owe it. As you can see, a number of people call in, which means they were not watching cricket. And we have an obligation to those people. We could have said we're not doing a show because everybody's looking at cricket. But when I started this evening, I said there are people not looking at cricket. And there are people who would want to get onto the program and are looking at the program. And people have called in and have made some important points. And I'd like to recap some of the emanations of our callers. The rubbish by the St. Rose's School, St. Sir David Rose School, next to Kampayangana at Thomas Road. That school is between the National Park and Kampayangana. You can't have a school with those kinds of special students, and there are dozens of rubbish bins there filled with garbage. No, that should be solved if the authorities are listening. Then there is that Muslim burying ground right at the junction of 6th Street and UG Road, right opposite Civil Potter College, right at the entrance of the University of Guyana. That place, that sacred Muslim burying ground is overrun by bees. This week, a guy cleaning his land came back to develop his land, and bees killed him. The operator said our time has come, so it was nice being with you. I enjoyed being alone and the challenge of doing this program alone without a co-host. So I will count from 1 to 10, and if there's no call, we'll say goodbye for the night. I am going home to watch a movie with my wife. I need to tell you, if you're listening, this is important. We went to get a Visa card from Republic Bank so we can subscribe to Netflix. The Visa card from Republic Bank does not allow you to subscribe to Netflix, only to buy things online. You cannot use the card for a subscription, and we didn't know that. But I'm going home this evening. I should reach home by 10:15, and I promised my wife we're going to see a movie. So that's it. I will see you on Monday. Monday's program is very, very important because we're looking at 2 historical anniversaries of 2 tragedies in history. So we'll see you on Monday. Have a very, very pleasant weekend. This is Freddie Kissoon saying, catch you later. Bye-bye.